Joining us on the line now is Nasser, an opposition fighter in Tajoura, north of Tripoli. Good to have you talking to us, Nasser. What's happening at the moment?
Hi there. Yeah, well, right now I've heard NATO air forces are flying right exactly above us, and we still don't know if they're going to strike or they're just here for surveillance. There were some words of mercenaries in al-Haniya area, which is about around 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers away from where we exactly are. But we've heard also, just recently heard that it has all been taken care of, and the rebels have just got a hold of a huge amount of artillery from an air base nearby. So hopefully everything is going to be okay. And there's still some shelling in the Mansouria area, which is exactly behind the stronghold of Gaddafi.
And who is behind that shelling? Are they Gaddafi supporters?
Yes, there is the fight between the rebels and the Gaddafi forces. The rebels are actually in a weaker position, but there is support ongoing to them. Because the battalions are using heavier artillery.
Have you been able to get close enough to Gaddafi forces? Have anybody, or has anybody from Gaddafi's camp been arrested?
Well, there are some arrests that had been made in the Tajoura airbase, because like about 40 minutes ago, they surrounded the last office or the last stronghold in the airbase, and there were about 50 men over there, and they asked them to surrender themselves. They started opening fire, so the rebels answered them with fire, and yeah, that's basically it. And then they surrendered themselves. So they have captured a lot of task forces.
Tell us what the feeling is. I mean, I should imagine that you're all incredibly jubilant, even though the fighting is ongoing. Are you worried that there might be some within your camp, though, who are seeking revenge on those who have been captured?
Actually, this has been planned a long time ago. The rebels have already did a plan, which is basically everyone knows his neighbor. So everyone knows whether his neighbor is with or against, and all of these people, all of our neighbors who are pro-Gaddafi, we have went to them, we have put the mosque clerk to talk to them, to surrender their weapons, and no one is going to harm them. And actually, no one literally harmed them. We want the Libyan National Council to deal with such things, because we're basically rebels. We haven't got any authority to deal with them.
Tell us what's been happening to civilians whilst this fighting has been going on. Have many people left the surrounding areas, or have they been holed up in their homes?
Actually, the problem is because the Arada and the 11th of June road, which connects the beach road and another road, they have all been blocked so that no one can go in and no one can go out. And protection from the mercenaries and the battalions. So the families, they have all been, every family that has an underground basis, we like the people who are in that area, the women, the children, everyone are staying there. And for example, in my area, people stayed in their normal places, people stayed in their houses. So even though there was some hound shelling, but everything turned out okay, no humans injured.
You said that it's up to now the National Transitional Council to take over and to put some sort of political process in place. What about those rebels who've got all these weapons, all these guns, who have been trained up now? You did say to me that you are hoping that there's going to be some sort of peace and there's going to be no retaliation. But how are you going to get rid of these guns now?
Well, because you see, when the rebels, they give out the guns, you have to write your name, your national ID, where you exactly live, before you can get and obtain a gun. And there are training camps and everything. So this might deal with, I would say, around 40 to 45% issue. But the other issue is there's going to be a really strict security. In my street, there are about 4 checkpoints. Today, we have obtained 2 cars who are pro-Gaddafi. They were filled with weapons. So right now, we're dealing with it carefully. I know this is a difficult situation, but we're going to do a really tight security.
Okay. Nasser, can you give us a sense of how many people have been injured or killed in these operations? Are you hearing any numbers? Are you hearing about the amount of people who are getting into hospitals at the moment?
Yes, actually yesterday at the beginning of it, a person got shot in the head, and after that the total number of injuries were 38. There is a woman who died, but not in our area. The other areas, I haven't got a clue of how many people got injured and what's happening with it.
Okay, Nasser, thank you very much for talking to us. An opposition rebel fighter who was saying that his area is effectively under lockdown and that there have been NATO planes flying overhead and that there is still some sort of sporadic gunfire happening in that area.